everyone, I am Matt Williamson. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I'm recording this on Sunday afternoon. I assume you'll be listening to it on Memorial Day. Hopefully you'll have the day off, chilling, burgers, dogs, beers, all that good stuff. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I will be broadcasting 3 hours live from minicamp down at the South Side. So really excited to see a lot of these players for the first time live, just actually body types, how they move, all that good stuff. So I got one today I've been wanting to talk to you guys about. I think you guys at this point understand EPA per play, expected points added per play. I'm not going to dig into what exactly that is, but it's, to me, the best barometer of how a player, a team, whatever, is playing. So I went through the Steelers 2024 season and broke it down, offense and defense, where they rank against the rest of the league per quarter. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And I found it kind of alarming, and I'd like to get some of your feedback on this. So we're going to start with offense. Their first quarter offense, this is the most alarming thing of the entire podcast, or noteworthy. First quarter offense is 31st out of 32 in EPA per play. Now, say what you want about lack of weapons, however you want to criticize the offense. No way is this the 31st best offense in the league. I'm not saying it's the second, but it's not the second to worst. 31st in first quarter offense. Now, if I was defending them, I would say, well, they're such a run-heavy, big personnel-based offense last year that maybe that doesn't start to take its toll on a defense until the game goes on. Tackling Najee gets old in the second quarter, third quarter, especially the fourth quarter. Dealing with Darnell Washington in huge sets wears on you. Maybe. I definitely think that's a strong case. I mean, that adds up for sure. It's not like they're coming in and throwing bombs all over the place. Or you could just say, boy, their week of prep before the game might need evaluated and might just not be good enough. That their game planning aspects, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc., isn't good enough. Maybe. I don't know. Any of us know the exact answer to that. But if you're 31st in first quarter offense, that's a big problem. Now, the rest of it isn't as noteworthy on the offensive side of the ball. But in the second quarter, they jump up to 18th. So things are getting better. The third quarter, they're 11th. 11th best offense in the third quarter in 2024. In the fourth quarter, they're 16th. So we'll get to defense on the other side, but we could certainly criticize the coaching staff for their prep during the week. But they sure seem to do well with halftime adjustments, right? I mean, not many of which we can't see in the naked eye as we sit there in our lazy boys slugging down Iron Cities, watching the game. But we'll get to the defense. Halftime adjustments certainly seem like a strength. Now, then it falls off a little, like I said, 16th in the fourth quarter. But really, considering this personnel, I'll take 18th, 11th, 16th in the second, third, fourth quarter. It's not one of the most talented offenses in the league last year. You don't have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I was also thinking in the fourth quarter, are there some games? Well, we know there were some games where you're throwing and playing left-handed, so to speak, because of the score. You're losing big, especially late in the season, where you have to throw the ball around the yard, and that's not how the offense is built. So I found that very interesting, though. And I also kind of look at it from a good light, too. Like, what if you weren't 31st in first quarter offense? What if you could be middle of the pack and to start games? And it would also allow you to stick with your running game even more, as opposed to, boy, the offense is putrid. We got to play left-handed, like I said. So offense, first quarter, 31st, second quarter, 18th, Third quarter, 11th. Would take 11th from that offense all day long, no matter what. Fourth quarter, 16th. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action, with the largest selection of odds on everything from the NBA to NHL playoffs to MLB to UFC and boxing. BetOnline has you covered for all your online wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. So as you can imagine, the Steelers' defense last year was better than their offense. Yes, that is true. But there's some similar trends here, too. When you break it down, EPA per play by quarter. Where would you guess their first quarter defense ranks? 22nd. That's way below the bar for as good a talent as they have. And again, it makes you wonder, is game planning throughout the week a real problem? Do they not practice properly? Do they not evaluate their opponents properly? Does Tomlin not give them a good enough pregame speech to get them riled up? I'm joking about that, obviously. But 22nd in first quarter EPA, and you match that with 31st first quarter EPA on offense, slow starts are really hard to overcome in this league. And part of me, I think you guys know me by now, is I would try to look at these things from both sides. Boy, that's bad. That's terrible. But I would also think it's somewhat easily correctable too. You know what I mean? Like, that's the positive. Is this the hardest thing in the world to figure out, is just get better in the first quarter as a football team? I wouldn't think so. Now, the rest of the way is pretty good. The second quarter EPA for the defense, 15th. As talented as they are, you'd want better, but that's not terrible. That's certainly improved. Again, though, coming out of the half, really good. Third quarter defense, much like the offense, is their best. They're the sixth best defense in third quarter EPA in 2024. That certainly seems like halftime adjustments. I wouldn't say, boy, getting Gatorade and water at halftime, is a fatigue thing. I think fourth quarter is much more about a fatigue thing. I think it's mostly about adjustments and figuring out your opponent and being the more physical team, and that's starting to take its toll. And I think that's definitely true with fourth quarter defense, where they were 9th. Pretty good and really good. Now, I do think all these numbers on defense should be better than 22, 15, 6, and 9. I'm sure some of you are like, they're the most expensive defense in the league. Yeah, but we also have to remember how the end of the season went and who they played, the Eagles and Chiefs and Ravens, etc. But I think these trends are worth discussing. I want your feedback on them. Again, offense by quarter, 31st, yuck. 18th, not bad. 11th, pretty darn good for who you got. Fourth quarter, 16th. The defense, first quarter, 22nd, unacceptable. Almost as bad as the offense to me, considering the talent gap between defense over offense. Then it goes to 15th. Third quarter, you're 6th. And the fourth quarter, you're 9th, all of which are good. Now, what's the reasoning? Because I talk about this all the time, like in TJ Watt's career. We know he's going to the Hall of Fame, of course. And he's got a ton of sacks, and sacks per game is through the chart. Through the roof in terms of great players in NFL history. But how often in Watt's career, or how often in the Steelers' last year, have a nice big lead in the fourth quarter at Acrisure with towels flying, you guys screaming loud as can be, and not have to worry about the run? and just pinning their ears back in pure pass rush situations. This team over the last 5 years has not been in that situation very much. And it's also a testament to Watt to still have unbelievable sacks per game type numbers through his career. It's not like he's the Eagles, they bring in Hassan Reddick or one of those designated pass rushers when they're up 14 at home, crazy stadium, and they're just pinning their ears back. That doesn't happen to Steelers. So that's not why their EPA late in the game is so high, is because the pass rush just takes over because they've eliminated the run. I don't think that's the case at all. So I found that interesting. Curious what you guys have to think and feedback on that. So let me know at Williamson NFL.